So these are the things which you're going to learn. So the first part is PERT and CPM. Generally, you'll get problems on CPM. A lot PERT is just theoretical part, and then on EOQ, you'll be getting a lot of questions on EOQ. Find the economic order quantity, something like that. Okay, so and apart from that, there are what do you say? The theory part, which is there. So these are the things from the first part which I'm going to learn. Network analysis, PERT, CPM, network activity times, where we learn the syntax or the rules which are required for us to, what do you say? Yeah, the rules which are required for us to draw a network diagram. And then, after we learn that completely perfectly, we will move on to critical part and then finally total and free slack. Okay. Yeah. So this is the main thing. Two more question was asked. Give at least two differences between PERT and CPM. But before that, we need to know what is PERT, what is CPM. PERT, Program Evaluation Review Technique. It was developed in 1956-58 for a nuclear submarine missile project. And CPM, Critical Part Method. It was developed for maintenance of a company's chemical plant. Simple. Now, what is the main difference? In PERT, okay, generally I can tell you the main differences. In PERT we give importance to events, whereas in critical path method we give importance to activities. Okay, so here if I can see, three estimates are used to form a weighted average of the expected time based on probability distribution of completion of time. So probability distribution, how we learned previously, from that they're going to form a weighted average and then they're going to choose the best method. It is a tool for planning and controlling of the time. Emphasis is given on completion of a task rather than activities required to perform the event or task. So it is called event-oriented technique. So here more importance is given to completion of a task. So what are the activities are involved doesn't matter, but what are the events which require to complete the task matters. Okay, so generally in PERT there is something called as Gantt chart. Okay, you do not have in your syllabus, but generally Gantt chart is nothing but you calculate task weekly. So we used to do this in our corporate world. So everyone used to have this Gantt chart, and then we would be given, okay, so let's say on May 14th you are here, May 28th this particular task should be completed. Now let's say I did not complete somewhere the task. Okay, that will again be shown over there, telling that okay, from May 14th to May 21st you did not do any task, so this is the remaining time there, and then you have to complete, and based on this the next task could be performed. So we will get to know each and every person is taking how much time to perform a task in the project. Okay, it is used in one-time project involving activities of non-repetitive nature. Like for example, if I want to develop a plan for construction of a building, it is a non-repetitive task, because initially whatever the building plan is there, based on that I will proceed. Okay, take example of your road construction also. It is a non-repetitive task, because I know if I'm given a contract to finish my task from one place to another, that is enough for me. And here estimates are uncertain, such as redesigning, assemblies, and installing the information system. So it is decided generally in assembly line or installing new information system. Okay, generally, let's say in your KLE college, they decided to install information system for MCOM, how they are performing well, and to coordinate everything related to MCOM. Now I know this is non-repetitive in nature. Why? Because once I install the system, that's enough for me. I cannot modify it. I have to suit it for that particular thing. So that's the part. Now coming to one more point, it helps in 1 second. मम्मी मम्मी क्या की जल रहा है देखो. हाँ. Okay. It helps in identifying critical areas in the project, so necessary adjustment can be made. Now, for example, let's take example of road networks. Now we know since 3 months, there is no work involved. Now they had to adjust the project. They know that per day some 27 kilometers had to be done, which was given by Ministry of Highways for National Highway Authority of India. Now they thought, okay, now since 3 months have been gone, and I know it is a critical place because again, when monsoon sets in, again the work will go very slow because in monsoon you cannot build roads in India. Okay, so they will think, okay, I have to change I have to make certain adjustment and at least do so and so thing. So that is nothing but pot. Okay, now coming to CPM, there is only one estimate of completion on time of each activity. Okay, so this is the main difference. So you are going to give importance to each activity. Each activity means what? No, you won't consider the entire project, you will consider step by step in the project. Now let's say one activity is providing the tar for or in, let's say, in management information system, let's say providing information about all the inform activities. So that is one activity. One more activity is providing all the students enrollment which has happened in past 10 years. That is one more activity. Third activity, how many students have applied for scholarship? That is third activity. Fourth activity, how many students have received scholarship? That is fourth activity. Okay, so like this, activity wise I'm going to establish. So here what it does, it allows an explicit estimate of cost in addition to time. Thus, it is suitable for establishing a trade-off or optimum balancing between schedule time and cost of the project. Now, I know, let's take full example of KAV. Now, you guys keep applying for scholarship, right? Now, here in scholarship, they know that students from BCom, students from NCom, students from tourism, students from science, chemistry, all these people come for applying scholarship. So, I need an information system which is exclusive only for this particular event of scholarships. Now I know that I have to dig in deeper and take student information from each and every department or from each and every course. So each and every course is a activity over here. So what it will tell, okay, BCom is a huge number of students, so I will decide, okay, I need so much time for it, and then I will come up with the cost. So CPM, it helps in doing that. Okay, now coming to CPM, it is of repetitive in nature. Scholarships are repetitive in nature. They know that every year scholarship come, every year students come for scholarship, and number two, scholarship amount keeps changing over there, but the scholarship keeps remaining the same. So I need to make sure that how it works over there. Next, coming to significance of using PERT. Okay, all these are theory part. A network diagram. So generally we use a network diagram. So why it use a network diagram? Because we want it to be arranged in a logical manner. So step 1 admele, step 2, step 2 admele, step 3. So here it helps in clarity of action and thoughts. Helps in clear and unambiguous communication from the people from top to bottom. So from the CEO to the person who is involved, I have to this pattern CPM helps in knowing each and everything. Next, detailed analysis is given. So whenever there is any difficulty in execution, okay, it's been seen. It can be seen ahead, and then I can modify it. Okay, again, for example, let's say your scholarship thing. Now they know that coronavirus has come into picture. Now students cannot come to college and apply for scholarship. So what they have to do, they have to rethink. They have to change their course of execution. They have to become technologically sound, so that rather than going to college, you apply for scholarships from home. So like this, in prior you can expect what can happen. But coronavirus, it was impromptu. We couldn't have done that. Okay, so like this, it helps. Then isolates activities which control project completion and therefore results in expeditious completion of the project. So we are going to concentrate on those things where the project can be completed. Okay. Next, helps in diversion of responsibilities and therefore enhance effective coordination among different departments. So now, as I said, for your scholarship, different departments are there: BCom, MCom, tourism, science, pharmacy, so many other, PUC, so many other. Now they should know that how many students apply for scholarship, what is the amount involved in scholarship, what is the amount each person gets in the scholarship. So everything have to keep in mind and then create a project around that. Helps in timely allocation of resources to various activities to achieve optimal utilization of resources. Okay, so this helps in good allocation. You are not going to waste time. So manpower, you're going to allocate and tell, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. And then you will proceed. Take example of IT world only. let's say, now since you guys are from finance background, every time it is year end during this time. Okay. From what do you say, till April 31st, it is year end, and then from May, June, July, first quarter, you will decide what has to be done for the next 3 quarters. So this is the crucial time where different allocation of resources has to be done, so that you achieve your goal. Now let's say you're working in some big auditing companies. Many IT companies, big and small, come to you guys for auditing, and then you got so much of work in auditing, and you have to make sure that it has to be done properly. Now take example of Amazon. Amazon, again, we saw a video how they allocate resources. Okay, they got different people for different things over there. If I remember the video which we saw, any package which they get from the supplier, if it is not good, they have got a different team which will work on that. Okay, and they know that if the person is a prime member, they have to make sure that they do it faster and give it to the person directly. So like this, this potency will help them. All right. So these are the few what do you say, theory part which will be asked to you. Event in the network diagram represents project or milestones such as start or completion of an activity and occur at a particular instant of time. So certain time question has been asked, what is an event? Describe two types of events. 2 mark question. Okay, so event represent project milestone such as the start or completion of an activity. Okay, and then there are commonly represented by circle or nodes. So the circle or node is an event, and then we got two kinds of event: merging event and burst event. Merging event means what? Completion of more than one activity. So different activities coming together and falling a turn event. And generally, it's the end part of your node. Burst event means what? It is about to start. It is about to burst, or it is about to initiate an activity. So if you can look at the arrow marks here, okay, so you got the merging event where all the events are merging, and the bursting event where all the events are about to start. Okay. What are activities? They represent the project operations to be conducted. Each activity except dummy requires resources and takes certain amount of time for completion. We'll see why dummy activity is required. Okay. An arrow is commonly used to represent an activity with its head indicating the direction of the progress. Okay. So generally it would be this way. Okay. This way, like this, you're going to represent. So this is the tail and this is the head part. Okay, tail part means the event has started and head part means the event has ended. So when you draw two nodes this way, it means an event has started from here and an event has ended here, and this is the activity which is being performed. Now why this is required? If you are good with drawing the network diagram, many questions are based on this. In this entire chapter, everything is based on network diagram. Okay, activities is identified by numbers of the starting event and ending event. So each activity is defined by the numbers of the starting event. So event are based in numbers. Okay, and then we have an arrow between two events. The tail represents I and J represents head. So I showed that to you already. Now there are three kinds of activities which are involved. Number one, predecessor activity. Activity to be completed before one or more activity start is called as predecessor activity. ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸೇ ಒಂದು ನೋಡ್ ಇಂದ ಬರ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇವೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಆ ಬರ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇವೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಂಟಿಲ್ ಆ ಬರ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇವೆಂಟ್ ಗಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಯಾವ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅದ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗೋವರೆಗೂ ಇದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರೆಡಿಸೆಸರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ. ಸಕ್ಸೆಸರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ which started immediately after one or more other activities are completed. Okay, now if I consider this way, okay, so let's say I have something. Sir, something. What happened? Is this not coming? Yeah. Let's add something like this. ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಗುರು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ? I'll draw here. Let's say this is an event. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು 2 arrow start ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. Okay, and this is an event where one arrow is ending. Okay, so this is called a predecessor activity. This particular part, this is called predecessor activity. This is called successor activity. So unless and until this completes, a successor activity will not start. Okay, guys, you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ಏರಿ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಖುಷಿ
Yes, sir.
ಹೆಂಗೋ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಪಬ್ಜಿ ಆಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಬಹುದು ಅಂತ.
No, sir.
Sir.
Okay, so R is generally represented I comma J, where I is the tail and J is the head. Okay, now dummy activity, an activity which does not consume any resources and time is known as dummy activity. Two more question, many times it's been asked. So what is a dummy activity? Okay, now generally you guys are intelligent. I need not say. Of course, you write the definition and give some example. Now, why dummy activity is required? It is added only to establish for precedence in relationship. Means what? There is a certain precedence in relationship. That means, let's say there is one event which has to be completed. Agovargu previous event complete agirbeku. Next event start agovargu previous is complete agirbeku. In previous event alli let's say ಎರಡು node join ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಎರಡು arrows join ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. So we will create a dummy telling that okay, ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡಮ್ಮಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. Okay, so this is how it will work. If you can see the first diagram, starting event, ending event, activity is in the arrow, and everything has been given. This is the tail of the arrow, this is the head of the arrow. And now look at the dummy activity, how it is required. Now let's say there is I'll tell you simple example. Now this particular node tells that it should have two activities, one and this one two. Now already this activity is going to one more activity. That means illinda continue agutte. Then it might go to one more node. But before that, I'm being told this node is dependent on this activity and this activity. Now since this activity has gone to another node, I'll create a dummy activity here. Because the question says this particular node is dependent on this activity and this activity. Now I cannot draw it here, I cannot draw it here. Twice I cannot draw. That's the reason I'm creating a dummy. Okay, the resources will not matter here because dummy means it is zero. Generally, if you try to put the same straight arrow here, it means that this activity and this activity are again repeating twice. So that's the reason we'll have a dummy activity. We'll see how dummy activity comes in future. I got less than a minute. Now, if I complete with this, the last 20 minutes, we can move on to drawing a network diagram. Okay, I've already shared the PDF, the slides with you guys. So, yeah, there are some 5 questions which I had given. If possible, we will solve 2 questions. Initially, we will solve in our own pace. And once we are done with that, we will do it perfectly. Okay, guys?
Yes, sir.
Because directly telling doesn't matter. First, we have to make mistake, we have to learn, and then we have to proceed. Then what will happen? We will do it perfectly in future. Doesn't matter if you do mistakes